Thanks so much for joining us on our off-grid journey. Be sure to like, subscribe, and set up those notifications. And for more tutorials, podcasts, and updates, head over to offgridbnb.com. Okay, so today we are going to be building a butcher block. I looked and looked and looked. The Restores, the Habitat for Humanities, even like the Home Depots and Lowe's, the big box stores, didn't have like a 2x2 butcher block, and I just could not justify spending another couple $100 just to cut one down from there. We're going to be making this corner section right here that is effectively one half of a 2x2 square that's already cut in half. One of my friends just happened to have one. So I'm going to build another one just like this, and it's going to fit the sink. Now it's going to be about as strong as a normal butcher block, but I'm going to make it out of 4 sets of 2x2 beams. These technically they do call them 2x2 studs. I'll cut 4 2-foot sections out of each one, totaling 16 2x2s, which will come to 2 feet by 2 feet approximately. It's not going to be super exact because of the width of the blade cutting them and a couple of other factors, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to line them up and get them as kind of close to square as I can get them, glue them together as a butcher block countertop would normally be, except I'm not doing it in the professional scope. Commercial or industrial wood mills like to cut these little etchings out of each one of the edges and then tap them together with wood glue in between them, something like a Titebond 3 or a Titebond 2, and then glue the sides to the next set of them. That makes them super strong because they're not just bonding to like one block to another, they're bonding one block to actually 2 that are also bonded together. So it just adds strength. It adds a lot of weight. They're really heavy, but they're worth it because they last forever. So in any case, the first thing I'm going to do is measure out my 2-foot sections on each one of these, and then I'm going to walk them outside to the miter saw where I'll cut them down into 2-foot sections. Then I'll line them up based on the flatness of them. A lot of these 2x2s are cut nice and square with super tight corner edges on them, and some of them are cut kind of with like a sanded edge to it. It's almost got a rub on the side of it. So what we're going to do is just find the flattest sides for the top and the sides with the most sort of cutting on the inside so that we can grab that, so that the glue will grab those cuttings. We're also going to take my hand saw and I'm going to just etch little cuts right in the side of this wood just to give it something a little extra to grab onto. And I'm going to mark the tops and bottoms of these 2-foot sections just to make sure that what I'm not doing is scoring the top of the wood, which will then have to be sanded. I'll probably have to fill it with something so there's not a little dip in the countertop. Otherwise I'll have to lacquer them, and I don't want to get into that. So here we go. Okay, so I had to move the show into the second bungalow where I have basically, nothing on the ground. The other one was a little bit crowded with stuff stored from this bungalow. So in any case, I have satisfactorily roughed my edges. I'm not sure if that's going to come out on the screen there, but it's, maybe you can hear that. Pretty rough. So I've got nice rough edges. Those are going to glue together nicely. What I'm going to do is align them, put them back in order, align them, basically just rub into those grooves the Titebond wood glue. And I bought the 3. 3 is probably really good for jobs like this. I mean, it's the toughest bond that Titebond makes. You can probably get away with 2. I don't know. A butcher block seems like it's going to have a lot of traffic, a lot of wear and tear, a lot of things kind of sitting on it. It's also waterproof, so it is a countertop after all. I'm basically just going to stain it a couple of times and get that oil factor in there and leave it to the natural wood look rather than lacquering it. So in any case, after it is glued, I'm going to put one next to another. Hopefully I can finish the whole thing in before it starts drying and then clamp it all together. Once the glue starts setting, it really kind of needs to be within the grooves of the next one over. I may just do half tonight and then half tomorrow, and then glue them both together. It's going to take a long time to do 16 panels either side of those, which we're not doing the outside of 2, so normally it'd be 32, but it's actually 30 individual sides that are getting bonded together in this thing, which is another reason why it's a super tough and super popular way to make countertop. Okay, so the butcher block is finished being glued together, and it looks pretty nice. I probably should have spent a little more time on it. You know, I probably should have staggered the blocks a little bit, but this will do. I'm gonna have to sand it, get a nice sand flat surface on there, stain it, maybe put a coat of lacquer on it. It depends on what I do to the other one. Most probably I'll get a nice sort of sheen on this one between the sanding and the coating, and get all these little extra colors and things out of there. Make this nice and flat, and once I mount it and stain it, or once I stain it, I'll know if I want to do anything else before I mount it, but likely it'll just be sanding, staining, mounting. Probably going to cut it just like the other one, just like the first bungalow. Probably cut it in half and have this section fit right next to the nook table that's going to sit by the front window. I may decide to like sort of come out and do like a curve or something like that, something so that I don't necessarily have to waste this half of the butcher block. But who knows, I might be able to use that other half if I just cut it into 2 triangles. I will have to take a little bit off the edges anyway, because when I was cutting them, I was off by 1/8 of an inch or whatever depth the blade was. So I'll tighten up on those edges and we'll get this thing mounted.
If you enjoyed this video, why not reach out? You could be a podcast guest, get discounts on rentals, or even collaborate on a project. Send inquiries to offgridbnb@gmail.com.